Welcome to day 24 of a diary of a multifaceted mama. I'm just sitting here this morning, kind of doing my reflections, doing some thinking, some feeling, some sitting in the quiet. And it's been interesting. It is April now. And so we had a full weekend. We did an Easter egg hunt in the community with our family. We went to church. Two of the kids did a puppet show at church, which they were very excited about. We had family cleaning, which we do on Sundays. I had some work on Saturday, which I typically do in the morning. Had some things still with my car, which needed to be addressed. So we did that also on Saturday. One of my kids has martial arts on Saturday, so we did that. Oh my gosh, I think I'm forgetting something. We did something else on Saturday too. So it was a full weekend. I actually enjoy doing stuff, right? Like I enjoy being able to take my kids to a community Easter egg hunt. I love watching my kids get really excited about a show they're putting on and watching them perform like they did this weekend. These are all things that I love. However, I'm being reminded of two things as I am sitting here reflecting. The first is that I did not take the time that I value taking for myself in the morning to really sit and reflect and breathe and meditate, or just be mindful and intentional about how I start my day on Saturday or Sunday. I did not take that time the way I like to, and the way I value taking that time. And sometimes that's just the trade-off of me choosing to sleep later if I'm able to, or if I feel like I need to, or if I just want to. And so that was kind of the trade-off on Saturday morning. And then Sunday morning, we just needed to be at the church earlier in order for them to practice their performance. And so I didn't. And also, so I didn't wake up earlier to have that time for myself before going. And so what happened, this isn't like me bashing myself, because I did make a conscious choice, but it is me reflecting on, do I want to continue to make that choice in the future? Or do I just want to just keep this in mind, right, for the future? It's something that I reflect on for myself when I do this sometimes, when I choose not to wake up earlier to take this time for myself, which I did do today, which I'm doing now. I could definitely tell that by the end of both days, Saturday and Sunday, my calm and patience was definitely thinner. I could feel like I needed that time and space for myself, but because I hadn't started off the day with that, I really hadn't like pre-paved my day in an intentional way for that time for myself, even for later on in the day. Like if I really needed to take it, I could step away, and I did step away a couple times, but to have 2 days where there's back-to-back things, a lot of time with the kids, also some work stuff, and then choosing not to take that time in the morning, it does, like, I can tell the difference. And anytime I don't use my intentional scheduler with my me time in the morning, I can tell the difference. It doesn't matter what day it is, I can tell the difference. But this was a good reflection for me to be like, okay, I chose not to wake up earlier, take that time with myself, do my intentional scheduler on Saturday and Sunday morning. There was a trade-off there. I consciously chose that trade-off, and that's okay. reflecting on that. This was my experience. Do I want to keep doing that? So now I know, right? And I already knew, but now I know. I'm reflecting. And then next time when I come to make that choice in the morning, when it's time to make that decision on the next Saturday or Sunday morning, I can reflect on this and be like, okay, well, what can I do differently? Do I want to make this choice again? Right now, I just have additional information. So I'm not upset with myself about it, but I do want to keep this in mind, moving forward. And I also think that it's important just to share here because, there are so many women especially, but parents and people that aren't parents too, that feel the pressure to get everything done and like be there for everyone or be on top of everything all the time or be in like go, go, go mode, or just they're overthinking all the time mentally and so their mind never gets a break. And what happens with that is that it becomes exhausting or frustrating, or we feel resentful, or we get irritated, or our patience is waning, right? Like we feel less and less calm and more cluttered or more chaotic. And taking the time, whatever that looks like for whoever, taking the time to be with yourself in an intentional way and like really pre-paving, getting clear about where you want to focus your efforts for that day, it makes such a big difference. Mentally, emotionally, relationally, just in every aspect. It makes such a huge difference. And so I'll leave my intentional schedule link below. It's a custom calendar that I've created. It's more than just a calendar, but I'll leave that below if you're interested in checking it out. So that's one of the things that I was reflecting on this morning. It's just my experience with those choices that I made that I'm going to continue to carry with me, the information I learned from those experiences. And what was the second thing that I was reflecting on? The second thing I was reflecting on was, after a full weekend, like we had this weekend, and like we're going to have now basically until, it'll probably be, so January, February, and March are calmer months for us. We don't have a ton of things happening in those months. A few things, but not a ton of things. But once April picks up, we have things happening almost every single weekend. We definitely have things happening every single weekend in April, and in May, almost every single weekend. And in June, like half the weekends. July is a little bit quieter. But then come August, it picks up again. And September and October and November, and December, it's all full. So basically from April until December, we're full with a little bit of a break in July. And so now that we're coming out of our calmer season, our calmer winter season in January, February, March, things are going to pick up. They always do, because of the nature of events that we have in our family, like birthday parties, vacations, holidays, things like that. And then school stuff, right, with the kids. So knowing that, and knowing I enjoy doing things with the kids, I also think that it can be easily lost. And in the past, it has been. Not in the recent, like several years, but in the past, for sure, it has been. It can get lost that, while it's nice to have things to do and can even feel really productive to be doing things often, it can be just as productive, if not more, if I just remember to sit and pause and be still and listen in the silence. And that's what I was doing this morning. I didn't do like a ton of different things during my just me time and reflection this morning. Although sometimes I do different things. Sometimes I'll see certain things that I want to get done and I'll do that. And then oftentimes I'll do some kind of like physical activity as well, whether it's 60 seconds or 60 minutes, like whatever feels good to me, I'll do that. This morning, what felt really good to me was, because we had a full weekend, was for me to like just be aware of that and then sit with some quiet. And so I did a little bit more mindfulness, a little bit more meditation, a little bit more just like basking in the silence and listening. And I will tell you, I could just feel rejuvenated after I did that. It felt so good. It feels peaceful. It feels restful. It feels assured. And so that's the second thing that I was really reflecting on this morning. It's just remembering that that's the balance, is to listen to what we need at any given point in time. And sometimes what we need is to ask questions or to be doing things. And sometimes what we need is to be sitting in the silence and allowing answers or allowing rest or allowing rejuvenation, not needing to be asking a bunch of questions, not needing to be doing a bunch of things or thinking about a ton of stuff, but really just allow and bask. And that can sound so unproductive and basic and simple, but it is so powerful time and 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 time again, whether I'm doing this practice with myself or whether I'm supporting someone else with exploring it for themselves. It makes such a difference. So this day 23, this is what I'm reminding myself of, and this is what I'm reflecting on. I really am feeling so grateful. I don't feel like I need to figure out any next steps. I don't feel like I need to know everything. I don't even feel like I have a ton of questions I need to pursue or push right now. I'm really just allowing myself to feel into the peace and trusting that answers to questions I've already asked previously, that they're on their way and that I don't have to figure everything out on my own right here, right now. And that's the kind of faith that I think that we are lacking so often in our lives when there's uncertainty or chaos or just a ton of stuff. We try to do it all. We try to control it all. We try to fix it all. We try to figure it all out. And it drives us up a wall, right? It really drives us into sickness and into distress and into disaster, or just into stress and stress and stress, chronic stress, which throws us through a loop because we can't be regulated. We can't be emotionally regulated, and our minds and our nervous system can't be properly functioning if we're in that place. So you can probably tell my energy is a bit different this morning. So it's not like I'm super high energy right now. I'm chill, right? Just chill energy. And letting that be enough. So that's our day 23 today. I'm glad that you decided to hop on and be with us, and I'll be back tomorrow with day 24. I'm going to do some more writing. Maybe I'll do some more reading. We'll see. Ride the wave of it all. Till next time, y'all.